Don't hit the snooze button. Jim, you got to get me up on the vertical. There we go. Do not hit the snooze button. It's time to get your ass out of bed. It's the morning show. Mornings in the Lab. Keith Billis, Marty Fitt, John Anderson, and of course, the incomparable Christina Flynn. Now, everybody gets the name throughout the show here. And coming up later in a couple moments, Ivan and Marianna Pollack joining us from somewhere on the planet. We're going to talk about the lonely journey of being an entrepreneur. So if you are an entrepreneur, you are a solopreneur, you're somebody who makes their living on your own, or maybe you work in an organization and you feel some loneliness, today's the show for you. We're talking loneliness on that battle, that struggle of building a business in the world of entrepreneurship. And if we have enough time, because you know how old Uncle Keith here has a problem telling time from time to time throughout the show, we are going to also dig into habits of successful entrepreneurs and the fitness side of things. You know, here in the Business Athlete Performance Lab, we are all about your day starts in the gym, your day heads to work, rinse, recycle, repeat. And as our loving friend John Anderson always says, it's about habit stacking. Speaking of John Anderson and the other guy, Marty Fitt, why don't we welcome those two characters to the show here? What's going on there, Marty?
Hey, what's up, man? What's going on?
I'm having problems bringing Anderson on right now. He's thinking, what the hell, do I have a complex? There he is. What's going on, Johnny?
He got technical difficulties over there already.
Marty, I can't wait to ask Anderson.
I don't have technical difficulties. I've got bear difficulties. I had a bear get me up all night. I tell you how many times I had to go out on the front porch and scare that son of a bitch off so I could sleep. Holy shit.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious. You know, come on, cut me some slack.
Did you capture video of the? Come on, John. I hope you went out there and before you challenged the guy, you pulled your phone out and said, "Hey, hold on, can we do a selfie or something?"
It's completely dark. All I can do is hear him. I think it's a sheep I can hear. You know, so I go outside and I raise my voice and I make a couple of stomps like I'm running, and I hear her scurry away. I'm thinking, good, now I get some sleep. But it's one of those things where you fall back asleep. And you're like, you don't know if you've been asleep for 5 minutes or 3 hours. It's like, this is like deja vu. I just did this. Get out of here. Let me go to sleep.
Johnny Anderson's joining us, not from Utah, but from Lake Tahoe, up at the cabin there, hanging out with his bears, and myself, John, and Marty Fitt. Ivan and Marianna Pollack coming up. We got Christina Flynn going to throw her into the lab here in a couple moments. Today we're talking the lonely road to success, real talk for entrepreneurs. And if we have some time, we're going to get into how to start your day like a successful entrepreneur. We also have the Creator Spotlight. Marty, John, a couple of good days in Creator Spotlights, man. We had Mark Jumacek yesterday. We had Jeff Hatton the day before. And, man, 5 o'clock Central Time, I've been dropping them on the feeds. And, dude, surprising people. Oh, my God. It has been awesome. All of a sudden, you get this flutter of, oh, my God. It's just been it's such a highlight for me as I end the day when I get to post that Creator Spotlight. It's a lot of fun. So we're going to do that later today. So Ivan and Marianna have thrown a name on the table for us, guys, that we're going to celebrate at around the 55-minute mark of the bottom of the hour here. So that's the plan. But, hey, why don't we take a moment to invite new producer Christina to the table? What's going on, new producer Christina?
Rocking and rolling. What you got, Marty? What you got?
Christina's mad at me today.
I'm mad at you. I'll be mad at you every day if you claim his as Canada.
Every time Keith does something off the wall, I'm blaming it on Canada.
Yes.
You know what? And I blame myself for that because I made it a thing. And if I hadn't made it a thing, you wouldn't have done that.
That's right.
See?
I did that. I did. You know what? If Keith is what we got, we will take Keith.
That's the best you can do.
Yeah, I'm the Canadian export. There you go. Hey, good morning.
He's a beauty representative of Winnipeg.
Good morning, Good Time. Thanks for joining in. Hey, guys, I'm loving this, man. Good Time is joining us earlier every single day. So I want to look at you and tell you how much I appreciate you. And I know John does. He's going to appreciate you. That'll come 2 seconds later. But John appreciates you. Marty appreciates you. And I know Christina does as well. Because for you to choose to spend your morning with me and Marty and John and Christina, full of gratitude. Because you have a lot of choices. So the fact that you tuned in with us is an exceptional. I was talking to Marty about this yesterday. Like that's until you know, you can't describe the feeling when people decide that, hey, I'm going to selectively spend time to choose you from the Netflix carousel. Okay, like that's pretty awesome. So thank you, and I cannot mean that sincerely enough. Oh man, guess who showed up today, guys? Can you believe it? So Young, what's going on there, Miss So Young?
So Young.
What's going on? So Young. We celebrated So Young last week is in our creator spotlight, and she has her wonderful puppy, Johnny, Bobby. She has an English bulldog that's a big part of her life. So I'm sure Bobby got her up this morning. And of course, we got Icon, EIX. All right, did Elon name you? Anyways, you guys, our day is good. Yes, 100%. And I know I like football. I think Johnny does, and I know Marty does as well. Tina, she's a basketball person, I think. So, and of course, we have on this side of the pond, of course, we have Enzo.
What's up, Enzo?
What's going on, brother? I know I owe you some commentary, Enzo, as per our conversation yesterday. I know that when I comment, it takes like 20 some odd hours to get to you. So just be patient today. I'll absolutely get to you. And hey, Marianna, Ivan, I know you guys are in Europe right now, so you're somewhat in the future. But and this is like the running joke on the show. So if you've tuned this in before, you know, but Enzo is further in the future than you guys are. So if you need to know what's going to happen about 6 or 7 hours ahead of you, like stocks or jokes or just good news, go reach out to Enzo in New Zealand. He'll get you guys sorted out. So speaking of, should we take a moment to invite our guests on the show, or should we make them wait a little longer in the green room, Christina? What do you think? Their new producer, Christina?
Bring them in.
Should we do that? Should we welcome in for the banter? Coming up in 9 minutes, the accountability check-in. You guys want to tune in for that one, because this one will get you thinking. That one's coming up here in because if you're tuning in for the show today, you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur. I know humans don't get you. And as John Anderson has said so many times in the show, if you set your goal so everybody understands you, your goal isn't high enough. So we're welcoming your lonely feelings. We're welcoming your feelings of inadequacy. You're welcoming your feelings of, where do I belong? Here in the lab this morning. So Jimmy, I'm going to pull Ivan and Marianna up on the vertical stream. You can pull them up on the horizontal stream here, and we will bring them into the show. There is Ivan, and there is... Nope, don't have Marianna on the vertical stream here. So I don't know where Marianna went. I'm sure she's coming up here in a second, but I can't see her. So if you guys can see her, you guys pull her in here for me. Ivan, what's shaking, man?
Not much. Living the life over here.
Yeah, where are you?
We're in Europe. We're in Serbia, our homeland, and hanging out. We just witnessed the big old balcony reception of our Olympic team, and it was amazing. We almost took out the U.S. It was a very close one. See, Marty,
I was nervous.
We were almost there. 2 threes away of taking you out.
That's awesome.
Steph Curry had to turn it up a little bit.
That's it. Hey guys, Kurt Stein's joining us this morning. Kurt is an absolute friend of the lab. What a shaking, Kurt. I'm a huge
What's up, Kurt?
I'm a huge fan of Kurt. If you need some AI help, if you're in business, we're talking entrepreneur solopreneurship today, but if you're in business, entrepreneur or solopreneur, and you're curious about AI, go knock on Kurt Stein's door. He will help you out. He's the man. He's been here a couple times on the show, and Kurt, you're welcome back here. We're going to get you back in a few weeks here to get you back into the conversation with things. But Marianna, thanks for joining us.
Hello.
How are you? Are you in the same country as Ivan?
We're in the same country. We're in the same house. We're in a different room. I got kicked out in the hallway, but I'm good. I like it here.
Third part of the show today: how to have a husband and wife entrepreneur business operation with Ivan and Marianna Pollack. John Anderson. Oh man, that's good. So this is amazing. Ivan and Marianna, they are strategic growth specialists. They excel in acquiring, restructuring, scaling, and exiting small to mid-sized businesses. John, they ensure ethical and profitable transitions that prioritize the well-being of teams. And Marty, get this, man. With over 300 board meetings under their belt, not 1 or 2, just a couple, 300, they've guided businesses through various challenges, always focusing on sustainability, continuity, and the human element. They're aerospace industry leaders. As executives, they've quadrupled their company's revenue. And dude, they achieved not a 6, not a 7, Johnny, an 8-figure exit. Yeah, we're not getting around this morning. All while maintaining a deep commitment to the team's integrity and success. But here's what I really love. Now, I'm not canceling everything out above. But what I really leaned into when we celebrated Ivan Pollack last week as our creator spotlight was they're proven advisors with heart. Marty, they use systematic principles to lead with empathy, the superpower of the business athlete, guiding leaders and organizations toward greater alignment, impact, and freedom. And now here's the worst part of their description. Marty, I'm looking at you, pal. So I don't know, if you got the note button or if you got the old groan button, here's where they are, man.
I'm ready.
Well, yeah. Apparently, they're best-selling authors. Yeah, exactly. Johnny, your turn.
Everybody that's got a book is a best-selling author.
I love the fact that
That's the way it works.
I love the fact that it took 2 seconds to get to us with the response. But Christina, here's the best news. They're not TEDx speakers either. Boom! So there you go. We got Ivan and Marianna Pollack. Ivan's like, really? You're making jokes to me right now? Yeah, well, yeah, I've totally jokes at your expense right now. So we got them joining us in the show. We're going to talk entrepreneurship, loneliness of entrepreneurship, and all of that. Real deal. Thanks for joining us here this morning. Good to have you here this morning, my friend. I've noticed you're here a little bit earlier this morning as well. Our show starts at 8 o'clock Eastern time, Monday to Friday, right here on LinkedIn, X, YouTube, all over the planet, even in the future where Enzo is, and even in the half the future where we have our friends Ivan and Marianna Pollack and Cindy Phillips also joining us. Good morning, Cindy. I invite you to subscribe, like, comment on the channel. If you don't, Marty's going to kick my ass later today. So please let that not happen. So exactly. Hey, did you guys know that, I had a comment here. Did you know that scientists yesterday, I got something for you guys. Before we head up to the accountability check-in. Scientists have discovered that they've revealed the maximum number of years humans can stay alive. What do y'all think of this one? What's the guess?
120.
Oh, Marianna, what do you guess?
101.
Oh, Ivan, what's your guess?
I'm going with C. Marty.
Oh, 125. Johnny Anderson.
I'm just going to take a random number at 113.
Oh, good. And producer Christina. And
Depends if you have a bear in the backyard.
Yeah, that's it. And the answer is in the comments. One of our wonderful guests have actually, one of our commenters have actually guessed the answer. But Christina, what do you think the answer is?
$116.
$116. No, it's actually 150 years. Scientists have discovered that the maximum number of years humans can stay alive is 150 years. According to a Scientific American, they can live up to 150 years. And the frank reality is, though, and the big question is, do you want to? Because everything's just a little dampened, everything gets a little sore, everything gets a little older. But the reality is the science is suggesting that we have the ability as human beings to live to 150 years. And as every year goes by, nation, we're only living longer. Comments on that?
I'm skeptical.
Yeah?
I need to know more.
Me too.
Is this like, if we're talking about me and you here? Are we talking about Gen Z? Are we talking about, like, what are the factors? I need to know more.
Yes. Well, there's much going on with the biology. There's I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of the scientific details, but I found it quite fascinating that there's evidence that suggests that humans have the ability to live to 150 years old. And if there's one thing that we do see, we do recognize that there's much happening in the world around longevity and extending lifespans, and the fact of the matter is human beings are living longer than ever. And it's now the question is, how long can we live? So there's our little scientific question that comes out of
human beings. Real quick, human beings in the USA, the way the USA people, the humans in the USA do not live in a way that will allow them to get to 150 years old. It's definitely not talking about the current life of an American.
No way.
No. Hence, Marty has a company and a business called Less Brunches, More Crunches. So if you're looking to live to 150, you might want to talk to Marty or John. John will give you some good habits. Marty will give you some good tips and exercise and habits as well to help you get on with that. So, Cam, Marty, you ready for this one, man? Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, here we go. 6 people and not an interesting thought between them. Boom. Marty?
Oh, God. Cam?
Come on, Cam, you got to dude. You got out of bed this morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time to join the world's biggest morning show, and you took the time to come on over to YouTube. You took the time to pull your fingers out of your hand, and you said, "Hey, I'm going to go and type some letters to these folks." And the best you can give us is 6 people and not an interesting thought between them. All right, that works.
Let's go to Cam's page and see what interesting thoughts he talks about on his page.
Oh, right, because we're here this morning on the morning show. That's it. Hey, listen, this time in the show, we are going to go. I hope. Oh, yeah, that's Cam. You got to keep bringing them, man. You got to keep bringing it because that's just not going to work here, man. That's just you keep trying, you keep bringing it up. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this point because we're going to come back with some more conversation in the polls in 2 minutes. But first, it's this. Johnny, it's time for you to go, man. All right. We know what that sound effect is. We know what it is. Cam, do you know what that sound effect is? You know, Cam, I'm just joking with you, pal. We love everyone. We love the haters. We love the lovers. Hey, I built a whole business on trolls. So I welcome every troll on the planet to my show. The more trolls, the bigger houses I can build. Oh, yeah. So trolls, you are welcome on the show. You bring the trolls here. We can buy airplanes. We can buy big houses. We can do a lot of great things with all the trolls that come to our show. Trolls bring viewers. Trolls bring comments. Trolls bring a lot of good stuff. So we welcome all the trolls here because I am a professional moderator. Yeah, that's what I used to do. I used to moderate trolls. So if y'all want to come troll us, bring it on. Exactly. Good time. Trolls are good for business. And that is, what kind of house does 11 viewers fit for you? The kind of house that $50 million bought me when I sold my first business, Cam. Oh, yeah. True story. Yeah, I bootstrapped it. Didn't cost me anything to build it. I just built it up and sold it. So there you go. I'm loving this. This is awesome, awesome, awesome. So, hey, listen, speaking of trolling, if people don't get you, keep going. As John Anderson says, if people understand what your goal is, you haven't set the goal big enough. You haven't set the goal high enough. Because too often we all just change. What do we change? We change to fit in. Like, oh, that guy's doing that over there. Oh, she's doing that. Oh, I need to fit in. Go look at John Anderson. Go look at Marty Fitt. Come look at me. Do you think we fit in? No. We are ourselves. Because when you change yourself, you lose yourself. When you compromise, you sacrifice your potential. Listen, here's the reality. You're not here to please the world. No, that's not why you're here, nation. You're here to achieve your audacious goals. And if you're joining us on the show Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock Eastern time, that's what you're here for. To live your purpose unapologetically so the next time you stare in the mirror at yourself, you remember your big why. Don't compromise. Silence the don't. Don't give up. Trust me, don't give up. Don't stop. Because those right people, the right people around you, they'll find you. They're going to support you. The rest, here's where it gets good. The rest of those people, those haters, the ones that don't understand your mission, they'll catch up. You know where they're going to find you? They'll find you in the stadium. Because while you're working your way from the clubs to the concert halls to the arenas, those people that doubted you from the beginning, they'll meet you in the stadium. That, nation. And they're going to meet you in the stadium, Johnny, Marty, when you're winning. So that Business Athlete Nation is our accountability check-in here this morning on the show. Sound Mini, do I got something stuck in my teeth? Oh, Marty, love it, man. Love it, love it, love it. Tina, Marianna, Ivan. Oh, did we lose John? Did we lose John with the bear? I don't see him in the vertical.
Is he not back? He's not back yet.
Oh, he's not back yet. All right, we're gonna come back with the polls here, and then we're gonna get into the main topic about loneliness, about being an entrepreneur. But before we do that, I need to welcome in the humans that are coming at us on the side here, Marty. We got a good time with trolls. Are good. Yes. Oh, you guys heard me in my little monologue there. Trolls are great for business. I'm telling you. Oh, I'm telling you, we can tell stories about trolls, how good they are for business. We got Troll Foundation. Sounds like a new wrestling team. This is true. Cam, yeah, keep bringing it, Cam. And yes, Cam, this is absolutely unique stuff. Extremely unique content that you're finding here first thing in the morning. And Marty, you keep going, man. And good time. Hustle to your haters. Ask if you're hiring. Absolutely. And Adam's talking about John fell. Yeah, Adam, John either fell into the toilet or he got caught up with the bear here this morning. So that looks like what might have happened here. All right. Every single day, Ivan, Marianna, we do a poll on LinkedIn, Threads, across the planet. And yesterday we ran a poll. So Ivan and Marianna, I'm looking at you guys. The question yesterday was, what's your biggest productivity challenge? And that's the question we put out to Business Athlete Nation. And the answers we gave, Ivan, was beating procrastination, managing distractions, or Marianna, prioritizing tasks or juggling multiple projects. What do you think was the biggest productivity challenge for folks that tune into the show and folks that engaged with the poll yesterday? Ivan, you first.
Gotta be distractions.
Oh, all right. Marianna.
Procrastination.
Yeah, you guys are right. 50-50, procrastination and distractions. And some could say, maybe they lead into the other. And I know when myself and Marty and John were talking yesterday, that was really what it was, which was, do you have enough distractions in front of me, which creates the procrastination, right? So that appears to be the biggest challenge for most, which is, beating procrastination because of the distractions. That was our 50-50 response. Marty, surprised by that?
Not at all. Not at all.
No. Johnny, how you making out, pal? You good?
Connection, I think, is back.
Good, awesome. We thought maybe the bear was around, and we were a little bit nervous. We had Adam wondering. We had good time just to make sure.
Well, that bear's pissed me off enough now. If he comes back, I'm gonna whoop his ass. It's just that simple.
Hey, Marty, is there another joke here with John Anderson? Is the joke something like, if a bear shit in the woods, would John find it? Or something like that? Or
it was fine where it was, Keith. It was good. You didn't, Christina, get him. Christina, get him.
Reel it in, Keith.
Oh, I had some energy this morning, Nation. We got energy this morning. We absolutely got energy this morning. So, hey, today we got a poll. Today we have a poll. And no, Marty, trust me, I'm not going to drop the joke, man. All right?
Please don't. Please don't.
We do have a poll today, and it's Ivan Pollack and Marianna Pollack.
Oh, my God.
No.
Christina, you weren't here for this. Christina wasn't here for this, and John wasn't here for that joke. Please don't do it.
How often do you feel misunderstood? I know I feel misunderstood all the time by my friend Marty. I can't even crack the jokes, and he's throwing me under the bus. But the poll today is, how often do you feel misunderstood? And the answers were, all the time, often, but I manage. Sometimes it depends, or rarely I'm an open book. I'm going to go around the table. John, how often do you feel misunderstood?
I feel misunderstood all the time, and that's exactly the way I want it to be, because if people understand me, I'm doing something wrong.
Yes, I knew that was the answer. So does the bear misunderstand you, or does the bear know where you stand?
What the bear doesn't understand is he's about ready to get a frying pan upside the head. That's what the bear doesn't understand.
Oh my God, Anderson's bringing him here today. Marianna, how often do you feel misunderstood? Successful entrepreneur, business leader, when you walk into a room, do you feel like people are understanding you, misunderstanding you, or do you think they have a good read on you, Marianna?
I think they have a pretty good read.
Yeah. What about you, Ivan?
Well, I was born somehow too sensitive, so I don't think that most people don't get me, for sure. Now the external thing, like, you wouldn't think that I'd be sensitive, but I actually am very sensitive, and so when it's kind of a rough, like, do I really show them what I'm feeling, what I'm doing, or do I just keep it solid?
Yes.
So, that's always like, do we keep it real, or do we like posture up?
Absolutely.
So it's a tough one for me, and that's always been a difficult thing for me.
Ivan, I got to tell you, when we, Christina has joined us last week in the show, and she's helping us do production on the show here. And she said to me, Keith, I've met you, Marty, and John, and what you present and then what you guys actually are two different things. So I think we can relate to you, Ivan, with those comments. But Christina, how often do you feel misunderstood?
Consistently. Ivan, I feel you. That resonates on the sensitivity. Like, how much do you want to open up? Is it a safe space to open up? Do I really want to be myself?
Yes.
But I do think that I used to hate that. And now I'm more along the lines of John. I like being misunderstood because that means I'm doing something unique and innovative that not a lot of people really get.
Yes, absolutely. There's power in and actually, again, we're not a political show by any stretch. I do want to lean into this word that has popped up into American culture here in the last 2 weeks, and it's a word that's been around for many, many years, but it's just popped up to the zeitgeist. Weird, right? The moment that the Democrats dropped it last week, which is this term of weird, it's essentially saying embrace what you don't think is normal. And there's power in that statement in many ways, isn't it? And it's actually leaning into our conversation today, which is how often do you feel misunderstood? Well, I'm weird and I love it. And as John said, if you do understand me, then I guess I'm not doing my job, right? Or my goal isn't big enough. So I'm a big fan of that question. I'm really going to be intrigued to see what the responses are tomorrow on that topic around, feeling, and we got a comment from Lotus Flower coming in here. Do you think people's this is a good one. Do you think people's misunderstanding is a reflection of themselves, their perception of who you are, and not who you actually are? And good morning. Hi, Lotus. That's a great question. Marty, what do you think of that?
No, she's absolutely right. That's why she watches us and watches my content.
Yes.
And to answer the question, I'm probably misunderstood 97% of the time. Like, I'm used to it. And every time the more I'm misunderstood, the more I grow. So just like John said, if they're talking smack, you're on the right track.
Well, and I'll tell you guys something. I've gotten to know Marty over the last few months, and I invite you to tune into Marty's content, because what you see of Marty and then what you hear from Marty are two different things. All right, the guy's kind. The guy leads you in the right direction. So I'd like to have a lot of fun, and he loves to have a lot of fun. We can have fun and we can be kind at the same time. Right? You can look at Ivan and say, okay, you have a judgment, but then you have this man who's full of empathy. Right. So I guess the key message here, and it's the old cliche, don't judge a book by its cover. Let the person, speak to you and get to know the human being for what they're fully worth, instead of just looking at them and making a statement. Right. So because if you looked at any of us, you're probably making a statement. The reality is, tune into the show and hang out with us and get to know what we're all about here. So we're going to come to the big topic here in a couple moments, Jimmy. We're going to get to the fit tip here in a couple of seconds here as well. But guys, I wanted to put something here on the table here that I do some tips to streamline the workday. 10 expert tips to streamline routine tasks in the workday. John Anderson is a massive fan of habit stacking. Stack habits constantly. You stack enough habits, you're going to have great success. Ivan, Marianna, Marty, tips to streamline the work tasks throughout the day. Try automation for routine tasks. So if you're sitting here tuning into the show right now, and you're thinking, I got a lot of things to do, but I can't figure it out. Well, consider automation. Automation might be something you want to look at. Right? Social media is a massive part of our world today. Marty, centralizing it, right? Grabbing one platform, putting all your content in one platform, maybe something like Buffer or Notion, and having all those stakeholders tied to that one space and rocking and rolling and streamlining that social media planning, right? Implementing marketing automation software, stuff that's going to help you pull all the pieces together. And I know some of the stuff sounds simple and basic, but if you're tuning in right now as an entrepreneur, or perhaps you're a solopreneur, and you're thinking, oh man, I got a whole list of things to do today, and Marty, it's not making the website. Think about consistent and simple routines. Think about the things that John talks about here on the show. Get one thing done today, get two things done tomorrow, get three things done the next day. Stack those habits, right? The point is, there's many, many tips to streamline the workday, right? Looking at automating deep analysis using tools like macros and AI tools. But as you start your day today, don't run into it without some thought, right? Put some thought to how you can automate it, how you can add some tips to streamline the workday, and you never know what comes out of that. So I'm going to drop that over here for you guys, just some things to think about, which is, and then the last one, of course, is project management and leverage AI tools. They are all over the planet. If you're not leveraging AI, you're saying you have no time. Well, there's a lot of excuses to give you back that time, and they all start with tools like AI. So, all right, Jimmy, I think we're going to go to the Marty Fitt tip, and then we're going to come back to the main topic, which is the idea of loneliness on the journey of being an entrepreneur and a solopreneur, and we're going to have a great conversation around that. So let's do this. Boom, boom, boom. Doom. Off you go, pal.
We got the fitness tip for today. Give me 1 second while I pull it up. I apologize. I usually have it sitting here. I didn't have it today. So give me 1 second. All right. Let's get it. All right. We got the fitness tip for today. Let's get into it. Stress and mental health. The mental and physical toll of loneliness. Increased anxiety and stress. Hold on. My bad. We got severe health risks with that. Chronic stress and hypertension, immune suppression, and poor sleep quality. Neglecting your health, the grind, the mentality often leads entrepreneurs to overlook their physical well-being. Don't let the loneliness take you out of your fitness routine, out of your health routine. Health is still number one. Health is still important. You still have to take care of your body to be successful and to be productive with your business, for your employees, even outside of your business, for your family. Many entrepreneurs sacrifice sleep, exercise, and nutrition. Those are still number one. So just because you're eager for the business to grow, eager for the business to succeed, and you're feeling lonely, that's not a reason to neglect your health and neglect your fitness. Don't ignore warning signs like physical strain. That's a sign that you need to move your body. That's a sign that you need to get up, eat healthier, right? You need to develop a routine. Increase risk of long-term consequences that can impact your personal and business success if you neglect your health. All right. So you want to definitely make sure that health is a priority. Fitness is a priority. Even if you're feeling lonely, it might lead to some sadness, to some stress, and maybe you won't have the mental clarity. But if you get up and exercise, get up and move, make that number one, things will get better, your business will grow, and you'll be there in the future to reap the benefits of that. That's the fitness tip for today.
Single day here on the show at around the 30-minute mark to give you guys something to consider to help you guys move throughout your day. Okay, we're coming up with the main topic with Ivan Pollack, Marianna Pollack. We're going to talk about the loneliness of entrepreneurship. I'm going to welcome Marianna, Ivan, John back up to the stage. Tina, just going to have you hang out there in the back there for a little bit here. And what we're going to do here, first of all, Marty, special day today in Business Athlete Nation. Johnny, special day today in Business Athlete Nation. There's somebody who's a listener in our show, an active listener, active participant, who's always around. I want to take a moment. Marty, you're going to love this one now. We're going to get this going. Just turn the ears up here, guys. Check this out. Happy birthday to you. Marty, it's Sarvina's birthday today.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday, Sarvina.
Yes, Sarvina. We are a big fan of our friend Sarvina. Happy birthday, Sarvina. She is a regular here on the show, and I want to take a quick moment to celebrate your birthday, Sarvina. Have an awesome day. Go get that cake. Go have some awesome activities which are going to bring a lot of joy to your life. Marty Lauren just dropped me a note and said, hey, if you can sneak it in. Of course, we can sneak it in. We're going to make a shout out to our good friend Sarvina, who joins the show daily. And we just want to take a moment to recognize you. And Nation, if you have somebody you want to recognize with a birthday shout out or something, come knock on our door. We just might. And Sam, if you have a birthday, come on back to the show and we'll wish you a happy birthday as well. So that's going to be our little birthday wish here today for our friend Sarvina, one of our regular guests on the show. Okay. It's that time. It's that time to bring in the big topic. It's the time to bring on Ivan, Marianna Pollack, and we are going to talk about the idea of the lonely road to success. Real talk for entrepreneurs. Ivan, Marianna, people often struggle. Entrepreneurs, solopreneurs that are starting out, they often face the skepticism from peers and family. I know you have talked to folks in your circle that like, Ivan, nobody gets what I'm trying to do. Marianna, I feel very isolated. Nobody sees my vision. Let's lean into this whole idea of the vision gap. Ivan, starting with you. When others don't see what you see as an entrepreneur when you're trying to bring your vision to life. Ivan Pollack.
That's a tough one in the early days. it's there's a reason why you have the vision that you have, and getting the traction you need is important in those first years. It's crucial that you continue to believe and you continue to find pockets of support. You Not everyone is going to go with you, but there may be one or two people that you can lean on. Believe it or not, this doesn't happen only in the startup stage. This happens throughout the journey, even when you have a more mature business, which happened to us. So it's definitely looking for supportive people in your life, people that maybe are a little bit ahead on the journey than you, that can help you and give you some guidance. And sometimes there's a lot of thinking of, oh my God, is this working? Is this gonna happen? Am I gonna finally get there? And all of these things. And sometimes people just stop doing what they're doing way too early, and people expect that it's going to happen very quickly, and it doesn't go that way usually. So, settle in for the long road and keep on plugging away, making the steps. You guys are sharing a lot of really useful tools here and a lot of belief, and supercharging people not to believe the nonsense and to believe in themselves. So thank you guys for sharing all that you're sharing every day here.
I appreciate that, Ivan. Marianna, entrepreneurs often don't have colleagues who can relate to the unique pressures that they face, leading often to a sense of feeling misunderstood, isolation, judgment. What do you say to somebody coming to you saying, Marianna, nobody understands me?
Well, that could also be self-inflicted a little bit. Nobody understands me, and therefore I'm very special. I can't find somebody to understand me. However, if you look closer to your partner, to maybe one or two colleagues, and you do decide to share with them, of course, if you have enough trust, bits and pieces of how you're feeling, you might discover that there actually are some people that will understand you. So it's about, sometimes we would rather say that nobody understands us, rather than say, I want to be vulnerable in this moment and I am going to share no matter what.
Yeah. Johnny, comments, you're hearing Marianna, Ivan, any comments from your side of the board, my friend?
Yeah, it's totally true. Once you really dive into something like this, you're going to be not understood and you're going to feel like you lose a lot of support. But what I always remind myself is the people that are going to come support me, those are the people that I want to share my life with anyway. The people that don't support me, it's the fact that they got pushed away by this. It's better now than later, because they're cut from the fabric I'm looking for in terms of the people I want.
Yeah. Hey, Marty, there's, as an entrepreneur, and I, you've been on your journey as an entrepreneur over the last few years, you bear the burden of decision-making alone. There's that word, right? Which can intensify those feelings of isolation when there's no one to share the load, right? How do you find yourself finding somebody to talk to you or sharing that decision-making? Or is it mentors? Is it self-reflection? But talk about that heightened responsibility one feels as a lonely entrepreneur, Marty.
Well, I think it's important to find places where you can surround yourself with like-minded people. So for me, obviously in fitness, it's the gym. So that's kind of my outlet. That's where, my best friends are in there. Some of my clients have become like family. So I can surround myself with people there. My social media network, from the content that I post, I've met, great friends there. There's a fitness event coming up, and, I made a great trainer friend on there. He's coming from out of town from there. So social media is another outlet. So just really going out of your way. It might be a networking event. It might be a conference. It might be the library, the coffee shop, whatever it is that whatever you're into, I would say just go out of your way to find that, because most people are not entrepreneurs. They're not going to be on their grind, so they're not going to understand you. So you kind of got to go out of your way. And sometimes that energy, when you walk with that good energy, you just attract the right people.
Yes. Yeah. The power of good energy. Isn't that true, Marty? Marianna, Ivan, I want to look at you guys for this next part of our conversation here. The impact on relationships. Lack of understanding from those close to you can create distance, those strained relationships, right? There's cognitive isolation, there's unique challenges, the disconnect, limited support. Looking at you two, how have you balanced your relationships as a couple, but then relationships with everybody else? And what's the impact been on being entrepreneurs, building a business? But how do you manage those strained relationships? Marianna, you first.
Well, we mix business and personal. We never have it separate. And there are couples out there that cannot function like that. They have to have, okay, this is where the professional stops and the personal begins. For us, it was always mixed, because it was like 24 hours of everything. And I remember once, every now and then, we will have to kind of put a pause in it. And once I walked into Ivan's office and I was perplexed, and kind of upset about something. And, I kind of started dumping on him. And he was deep into something, and he turned towards me and he said, okay, can I ask you a question? And I said, of course. And he said, are you talking to me as my CCO, Chief Cultural Officer, or you talking to me as, my wife? And then I kind of stopped and I said, ooh, that's a good one. And that was one of the times where we the mixing kind of went south, if you will, but we quickly retracted, and I was able to understand better where are we coming from. So for us, we do support each other, so we don't feel lonely in that sense. But around in the environment, like when you are talking to somebody else who maybe doesn't understand what we do, whether it's family or that kind of gets a little bit, we wish, but then again, we have each other, so that's easier, I guess.
Ivan, what prompted you in that moment when Marianna came and said, I got a question for you? What prompted you to ask the first question, which was, is this a personal question or a business question? Like what made you go there first?
Well, because it was a tremendous amount of energy that was coming at me. It was a hurricane coming into my office. Like, okay, so I had to do something to settle the situation, and that was probably one of the most elegant ways that I handle one of those.
Yeah, no kidding. And what's your POV on the idea of the impact of strained relationships, Ivan, and how you create distance, or how you welcome people in that situation?
Well, I want to talk about myself because that's my favorite subject.
Yes.
While we were running our aerospace business, I earned the nickname Darth Vader. Okay, so you know me now from the more what would you call it? Reformed person that I am now. But I literally earned the nickname Darth Vader because I was uplifting people by the neck. So I was really pushing really hard, and I was really gunning, and we had a large team by that point, but I wasn't happy with the progress and what we were doing. So I was really stressing out myself, stressing out the people, stressing out the system. I was like pushing on some kind of vision that was only in my mind, and maybe a lot of times unreasonable. And I was pushing so hard for so long that I drove up to the building one day and I couldn't get out of the car. I was holding on to the wheel, and I was like, I can't. If I walk in there one more time, that was in my Darth Vader days. If I walk in there one more time and I hear that same old problem again, I'm going to lose it. I really had a really deep, if you would, an awakening, because I saw myself literally having a heart attack in that building. And I was like, no freaking way I'm going to do this again. I'm not going to lose my family and my life for this thing, for this kind of vision. And that was a departure point of me. I said, we're going to change this thing completely, and we're going to actually tune into the team, to the people, and build this thing together. And from that point on, within a few years, I was only working 2 hours a week. And that put us on the track. a lot of times we have people that we can lean into, but we don't have the courage or the clarity to lean in on them to get the support we need. A lot of times the isolation, we don't think we can get the help. We don't think that they will get it. We don't have a way to communicate it. We don't have a way to engage them, to enroll them. And that's what we have to figure out. And I remember one day walking into a team meeting and saying, guys, look, if I knew how to solve this thing, I would have already solved it. And it was a huge, big old problem that we were facing, and it was life-threatening to the business. And I said, guys, if I knew how to do this, I would have already done it. So it's going to be up to us. And I just took a seat and sat down, and that was a very vulnerable thing to do, to accept the fact that I didn't know how to solve the problem. And then literally people were raising their hand in the room and starting to engage, because I finally wasn't taking up all the leadership space in the room. Like, I was taking up all the oxygen in the room. I was going to be the first one with the answer, the first one with a question, with all of these things. And once I created more space for people to come into and support the business for their own reasons, and find out what's in it for them on the journey, what's in it for them to really support the business and the whole mission. Once they were doing it for their reasons, I started supporting them, and the whole thing changed for the better. And so it's a little bit of a mix of an answer, but we can tend to get tunnel vision when we go on the journey. And in the tunnel vision, a lot of times we miss a lot of cues and miss a lot of opportunities that could be there for us. So having someone supportive that can open that up. Mariana was instrumental in that. She sat me down and she said, you cannot be Darth Vader anymore.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Ivan. That's an exceptionally vulnerable story in many ways. So it makes me curious if that was your own internal mirror saying to you, it's time to embrace empathy. It's time to embrace others. It's time to maybe take off the Darth Vader mask and be human. Because Ivan, I'll look at you, my friend. I can relate to you. Marty always says, Keith, share experiences from the past. Be a business guy. Dude, I had my Darth Vader moments. I went through my time with ICUC where people are like, that guy's being a dick right now. Right? Or I was pushing too hard, or pushing too hard. Right? And then you step back and go, okay. Right? Not everybody's maybe drinking the same Kool-Aid that I am, and that's okay. Okay, maybe I need to welcome some more voices and welcome some more opinions, because I can't do everything. But Ivan, that takes a whole sense of vulnerability and courage just to step up and do that. And it took me, Christina and I were laughing at it. She's like, yeah, I've hit this age in my life, so I finally matured. And I'm like, yeah, why should you be any different? I had to be 46 till I started figuring shit out. You know what I mean, Ivan? So just the fact that you come there and you're okay, it's time to take the mask off. It's a very human thing. Okay? Johnny, I saw you nodding there as Ivan was telling his story, and I can see you nodding and perhaps reflecting on his comments. What are you taking from Ivan's story as you're hearing him share his journey? Johnny.
I really relate to it, in terms of like Terry, my wife. She's the one that kind of like oversees her, and there are code words that she can drop on me. She can say a word, and that I hear that word and I just freeze, and I'm like, I'm doing it again. I don't know what I'm doing, but so she has a series of words. I could be 30 feet away and she got bop, and I'm just like, oh, and I need that person on the side to tell me, hey, you're doing it again. Because I get in it, it's a tunnel. That tunnel, she calls it, I'm underwater, meaning you can't find me. I'm doing my thing. And a lot of times I get a little bit too forward, and I need that kind of call off the dog, so to speak. Tell me what I'm doing wrong, or give me a better awareness. And it's a series of words, one word, massive communication. I can pivot and keep going.
Yeah. Marianna, when Ivan was Darth Vader, and you were being patient with him being Darth Vader, how did you continue to be patient when there were moments you're saying to yourself, Ivan, you got to take the mask off. Ivan, you got to take the mask off. Or were you allowing him to take his journey to find his own realization in his own mirror, to take the mask off. And then you, as his partner in this journey, you're like, okay, when he's ready to take the mask off, I'm going to be there to support him because I know that he's lonely right now with the mask on. You're sitting there going, I know he's lonely. He's got the mask on. He's going to go down his path, but I'll be here when he's ready. Do you lean into those comments, Marianna? Does that ring true to you, or nothing like that at all?
Well, yeah, it does. And I believe that there's good in him, just like Padme believed, that there's good in him. And I knew there was. And, sometimes it was difficult to watch because I know who he is as a person. And I know that there's a mask, and I know that he's under pressure. And this amount of energy that he's bringing when he walks in, and all of us are kind of like, oh, he's coming, let's see if we messed up. It's the same like when Darth Vader walks onto the Death Star, and we haven't built what we were supposed to build. And, then he's gonna, so I did, first of all, it was also a bit of a relief to have that analogy, of the Darth Vader. So that's kind of, haha, we kind of laughed it off sometimes with the team, but it wasn't pleasant, and you kind of have to let it, you have to believe, you have to let it unravel. And sometimes it was granted, the Darth Vader energy was granted, in certain cases. But as long as we, nobody got hurt, which nobody did, we kind of let him through. And then when he did show up and he said, if I knew how to solve this, I already would have solved it and kind of took off the mask in front of the team, then that was a huge pivot for them to be even more forward with their solutions, because it was impactful when he did that. And we all believed, and they all knew who he was, because he wasn't like all of a sudden, Ivan is a Darth Vader forever. No, they all knew that he was under tremendous pressure, and that was the only way at that time that he could express it.
Yeah. Marty, when you hear Ivan telling a story about being Darth Vader, and that, I know we talk superhero stuff all the time. When you hear Ivan telling a story about being Darth Vader and just, having that one role and taking the mask off and being something else, what comes to mind for you, Marty?
How, as an entrepreneur, you have to focus on personal growth as well. So before you get to that next level, you kind of have to become the person before you get to the next level, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. Recognize.
So,
yeah.
Exactly. So I see Ivan did that. And sometimes you got to have that honesty, whether it's coming from yourself or whether it's coming from Marianna. You got to be able to reflect, accept the criticism, and change, because none of us are perfect. We all have flaws. And then when you're affecting your team and you're affecting the people around you, it's not a healthy environment. You got to change. You don't have a choice. So,
yeah.
Yep.
Well said. We're talking the lonely road to success with Ivan and Marianna Pollack. Real talk for entrepreneurs. If you're an entrepreneur or solopreneur, this is the conversation you want to lean into. We're talking about that path, the path of loneliness, the path of nobody gets me, nobody understands me, the path of my vision is big, nobody understands it. We're leaning into these topics here today. Marty, I'm going to come back to you, pal. So you, on your journey, you took a path out to LA, left Maryland after D1. You went from athlete to being a trainer. How did you navigate the situation when others just didn't understand? Maybe it was mom, maybe it was dad, maybe it was friends. We're like, yeah, I'm packing up. I'm heading to LA. I got this big vision. And they're like, come on. And they kind of flip maybe the finger behind your back. And we're all like, how did you navigate that? How did you navigate that as a human? 30 some odd young man, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to figure this out. How did you do that, Marty?
Well, I just look at, I dabbled and dabbled in the corporate world and trying other things, and I did not feel like myself. And so I knew that if I feel alive on my purpose, I'm waking up in the morning before my alarm, I'm excited,
Yes.
I'm passionate about my purpose, then I need to be doing my purpose. So forget what they say. Are they living their purpose? No. So why am I listening to them? They're not going to understand me. So that's what has helped me. Exactly. So
yeah, I like that. That's exactly. Just like some of the trolls, right? We're here living our purpose because we're getting up building a business. And
is Cam living his purpose?
Right. Bring the trolls because the trolls bring the money, nation. Ivan, I want to come back to you, pal. So As you drove up to the building that day, mask was on, Darth Vader mode is on, but yet you have these struggles. Like, okay, what the hell? How do I go in the building? Maybe Marianna's already there, maybe she's not, but you got a mental struggle. You know the mask is on. Ivan, there's somebody right now driving to their building, or they're getting up, walking to their office, listening to the show. They got the mask on. They're having an internal struggle. Ivan, what are you saying to that person right now? Because you have gone through it. What advice would you give to that human right now who's sitting in their car, banging their head, going, nobody gets me? And you're going, Ivan, I do. Speak to that person right now, Ivan Pollack.
What you're doing is not working, and it's time for a little pause. You got to pause. You got to reflect, zoom out a little bit. First of all, before you do any of that, let go a little bit.
Sorry.
Okay, so letting go a little bit is necessary, because we get into the tunnel vision and we're holding on really tight to whatever is going on. And so in order to create space, we got to create a little space for that pause, for that reflection. And so whatever's going on in your life, there are things that can be done about it. There are steps that can be taken about it. There is progress to be made no matter how dark the situation is. If you can just pause for a moment and reflect, calm yourself down so that you can think clearly, because a lot of times our nervous system is hijacked, and in the hijacked nervous system, you can't really think clearly. So that's why you're letting go a little bit and then pausing a little bit so that you can come to your senses, so you can see what's your next step. And if you have someone trusted that you can bounce these thoughts off of, give them a call, tell them what's not working, tell them what's going on, tell them where you're stuck, and ask for help, because there are people that love you right now, that would do anything for you. And if you would go to them, they will support you. They will help you.
But Ivan, I want to keep leaning into this. Lean into this from me and Marty. How do you know? Because you're like, no, but I'm so determined, Ivan. I know the vision. I'm just around the corner. If I give up now, all the work that I've done is thrown out the window. I can't give up. I just can't give up. All this time invested. How do you know, Ivan, that it's time to pivot or it's time to pause?
Well, I'm not suggesting that you give up on your mission or your vision or your dream at all. What I'm saying is that the way you're going about it is what needs adjusting. So you need to let go of the current way you're going about it, the current energy that you're in, the current thoughts that you're having, the current words that are coming and replaying in your mind, that you need to pause that for a moment so you can remember what's it all about, and you can see maybe a different path, an adjacent path, a pivot in your approach, not a pivot in not a change or a quitting or anything like that, because we absolutely achieved our goal and our mission. And I'm sitting here as a testament to the rightness of the change of approach. Because if I had kept going, I don't think I'd be here with you guys right now. I was way burnt out at a really high level, and I don't think a few more months of that I would have made it. So I just, if it's not working, we need to shift. We need to shift how we are going about it. And we didn't change the business we were in. I didn't change my role. I didn't change any of those outward things. What I did change was kind of an internal perspective that I was having. And I thought that I'm going to force a result all by my sheer will. And in fact, that was never going to work. And I needed to lean into more people and have them enrolled into the vision and have them do it for their own reasons. And that's what ultimately produced the result.
Oh man, you are dropping nuggets here this morning, Ivan. I'm really grateful that A, we called you out as a creative spotlight 2 weeks ago, and B, I'm grateful you're here today because you're dropping some great knowledge. And Maria Glazanova is joining us here this morning. She had a great conversation with Brooks Bodar yesterday. Maria, thanks for joining us here today. Wow, this is powerful. Thank you for sharing, Ivan. Marianna, I'm watching you nod your head. And Jimmy, we're going to come up to the creative spotlight. We're going to come to the creative spotlight in a couple minutes here after we get to this little segment here with Marianna. And then we're going to continue the show with this one topic. So we're going to save this one topic to the back of the show here, team. But Marianna, you were nodding your head. Ivan's talking. You're nodding your head. And again, you were the patient spouse. You were the patient partner. And you had to patiently watch him go down this negative energy path. Right? Talk about your patience as the spouse, as the business partner, because there's a certain role in this for you as the partner, as the outside going, yeah, okay, I'm going to catch you when you're ready to go. As you were nodding and hearing Ivan speak, lean into that, Marianna.
Well, yes, that was going to be my closing point for everybody. I witnessed him, for a couple of years going through, ramping up the stress and ramping up the carrying it all as he took over the business. But I wasn't sure how I can help. I was busy at home with the kids going to school. I was pausing my career so I can, raise the kids and then also, go to school. And then at one point he had the wisdom to ask me to bring me into the company to help him. And that's a lot of times where entrepreneurs and business owners, founders, they're either afraid to share fully with their partners how they're feeling and what they're going through out of fear of, creating uncertainty, with their partner or in the family or whatever else, or, being perceived as weak or, doubt of the vision or anything else. And, I don't think it's fair to the partner because he or she, as they're kind of witnessing you going through what you go through as a business owner, they want to help unless they're total, not to, use any profanities. Most of the partners want to help in any way that they can. Of course, not everybody can bring their partner into the business, but there are ways in which you can seek support from your partner and share. So there's one thing that I would say to a business owner right now, don't hide shit from your partner. It will cost you longer. It will cost you more a long way, in the long term than it will cost you if you just completely open up and say, hey, this is a situation. We had a thing, a few weeks ago here in the United States where the husband actually, killed himself and without even telling his wife what was going on. And, she was left to believe that everything is dandy and, and she was spending money like crazy, whereas they were actually in debt. Obviously that's an extreme case. But if you, as a business owner, withdraw, and you kind of carry, and you're just kind of thinking and not sleeping, and your partner is witnessing that, they don't know what's going on with you. And they could have their own spinning going on in their head, interpreting meanings why you are where you are. So that's one thing that I would say is, be wise, bring in your partner and everything, and just, lean into them and believe that they will find a way to help you.
Yeah, this is some great stuff, Marty. It's funny. Marianna starts her sentence with not wanting to drop profanities, but as she gets into it and gets more comfortable, she's just dropping the S-bombs on the show. So that's awesome, man, Marianna. No,
we love it. No, we love it.
Yeah, you're welcome here anytime here. Yeah, because we drop shit all the time here. And since Anderson joined the show, man, like the bars come really low. So just drop what you want here, man, because
agreed.
Because John will catch you. And I love the fact, Marty, John's on the delay because we can just drop nuggets at him all the time and it takes so long to get to him that he can't respond fast enough.
Yeah, keep doing it.
I know. I think we got to send John on not vacation, Marty. We got to send John to weak internet connections more often on the show just for comedic humor.
I think we should do that.
We are talking the emotional impact of entrepreneurial loneliness with Ivan and Marianna Pollack. Mornings in the Lab. It's shortly after the second hour of our show. We're going to do our creator spotlight, Jimmy, in 1 minute. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to wrap up this conversation. We're going to talk about the contrarian side of things, about being, embracing solitude. We talked on Monday about embracing solitude as a strength. Embracing the idea of not emotional empty loneliness, but we talked about the idea of monk mode, like going completely solo. And maybe Ivan has a point of view on that, where he was going down his journey, which was, okay, I'm going, and the mask became thicker. So after, we're going to do the creator spotlight, and then we're going to come back and talk about embracing solitude as a strength, the contrarian side, before we walk towards wrapping up the morning show here at Mornings in the Lab with myself, Keith Billis, Marty Fitt, and John Anderson, the only live morning show to help you guys get your ass to the bed every single day. And we drop 8 o'clock Eastern time, Monday to Friday. But gents, here's the part of the show that I really enjoy doing. I know we all do. And Marty's going to get the old drum kit ready right here. So this morning, I knocked on Marianna's door and said, hey, Marianna. She's like, yeah. No, she said, shit, yeah. I was like, yeah, hey.
I don't think she said that.
No, she didn't have the confidence yet, Marty. And Nash and Ruby, if you're listening right now, my nephews and nieces, I'm sorry that Uncle Keith's dropping the shit word, but Mom and Dad say it all the time, and you can put some money into the jar for me. So Chad, Jess, just drop a couple bucks in the jar. Marty, they have a tip jar, so when they swear, they put money in the jar.
The kids or the whole family?
Good question. Parents drop money into the jar when they. I
don't think the parents do it.
I mean, you never know. All right, so the creator spotlight today, I asked Marianna, I said, hey, who would you like to nominate? And I don't know if she consulted with Ivan. Marianna, did you consult with Ivan on this one? Or is he?
No, he was napping.
Oh, he was.
That's a great excuse. Like, don't you want your sleep?
Ivan went from Darth Vader to empathy to napping. There's the journey of Ivan Pollack.
If he
it was a
doesn't nap,
well-being move. Yeah, he had to nap, to rejuvenate and refresh.
Or he's going to be Darth Vader again.
It's going to be Darth Vader again. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Jimmy, we are going to do the creator spotlight. So I reached out to Marianna. I said, hey, who do we want to nominate on the show today? And she says, Keith, we should nominate. So I'm like, all right, so we're going to get somebody here. And Marty's got the drums going. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to pull this up here. Today's creator spotlight is somebody that not joining us, Arlington, Texas. He helps multifamily professionals use LinkedIn for marketing and sales. Today's creator spotlight is, Marty, drum roll, please. Brandon Wallace. Yes, sirree, Brandon. Boom, 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 boom. Congratulations. We are nominating you today for the Mornings in the Lab Creator Spotlight. Marianna Pollack nominated you. Marianna, why did you nominate Brandon Wallace? Well, we go through him today.
Well, he's very kind, very professional, very, very knowledgeable, very wise. His work, we actually witnessing, his work with some of the clients that we know. And his team is doing a great job. We have calls with him every now and then, and he's very, very insightful in the conversation that we're having, and also he's very easy to talk to, and he's very client oriented, very professional, and he gets it. Like, he's one of those people that can actually understand you.
I like that. Well, Marianna, when you nominated him and I went and looked at him, I'm going to tell you what struck me. And Marty, I thought about you instantly, pal. So Brandon, when the pandemic hit, it didn't just shake the world. It flipped my career on its head. And Marty, that's when I thought about you, because I know how the pandemic hit you. And he said, it was my wake-up call. It was a time to rethink my career game plan, make a bigger move. Johnny Anderson making those big moves, my friend. He says, it was a time for deep reflection and prioritizing what was important. And look at this, nation. Family, health, personal/business growth, personal/business connection. So in 2020, he committed to being present in what was important. And guys, let's lean into this and celebrate this. Brandon stopped drinking, went back to school. He went with the ones he loved. He retooled his company, and he committed to LinkedIn. So what does he do now? He keeps his priorities in sync with his commitment, and he focuses on positioning commercial contractors to increase market share, leverage LinkedIn, benefiting them by building brand, outpacing competition, increasing sales opportunities. He went from a multi-year President's Club award-winning industry leader, providing with done-for-you laser-focused approaches, coaching, sales, or teams. Brandon Wallace helps multifamily professionals use LinkedIn for marketing sales, nominated by Marianna, not Ivan. Sorry, Brandon. Sorry, Ivan.
Ivan too. He said, great. I checked in after the nap, and I said, I did this. And he said, that's great. We love Brandon.
Was he actually awake, though, Marianna? Was he still sleeping? Was the eye open? Like, yeah, okay, Marianna.
I don't know. He was awake.
Brandon Wallace, you are our creator spotlight here in the lab today, Brandon. Really excited to celebrate you. And what this means, Brandon, is you now have an open invitation to join our show and join the conversation, join the fun, and step up on stage and welcome the next creator spotlight here in the lab. Luke joins us. Good morning, Luke. I appreciate you joining the show. I love seeing you in the feeds as well. Thanks for joining the show. Thanks for commenting on my content on LinkedIn. Subscribe, like this channel, leave some comments, go throw some zingers at Ivan there on the LinkedIn boards. Go find Marianna. But Luke, thanks for joining the show today. We are talking about the lonely road to success, real talk for entrepreneurs. But before we get into that, hey, John, did you see that shout out to Brandon Wallace? Thoughts on Brandon Wallace and his journey? Johnny Anderson.
I got cut off and I lost a big piece of what was going on. So that would be you're gonna have to pass on that one.
Yeah, I'll mail the results to you over there in Tahoe. But Brandon is an awesome dude on LinkedIn that we found for today's show, sponsored by Marianna and Ivan Pollack. So, okay, let's continue the conversation, Marty. The lonely road to success with Ivan and Marianna Pollack. Let's get into the contrarian side of this. Ivan, I'm going to look at you first, pal, because I think I get a strong sense we probably drink a lot of the same Kool-Aid. I'm just suspecting. Talk about solitude. Embracing loneliness, embracing those early days of your journey where you're doing it all yourself. I don't need help. I'm the solopreneur. I'm gonna monk mode and I'm gonna go. Let's talk about the opposite side of leaning in to help and doing it on your own. Ivan Pollack.
Well, probably you need a little bit of that fire to get you going, to get some momentum. I mean, it takes a while until you cross over to the dark side. So everything prior to the dark side, I think is great. That all that energy, all that commitment, it really takes a lot. You know, when they send the rocket to the space, 96% of the fuel is just escaping the gravitational pull. You know, so right now there's a gravitational pull keeping you in the situation that you're in, and you need to muster up the energy, your own energy inside the fire, the purpose, the mission that you're on, to really escape the gravitational pull and get the ship off the ground, if you would. Get the business off the ground, get your idea off the ground and where you're headed. So I completely get it. That's the other side of the coin. It takes a lot of energy to launch something of your own. Mm-hmm. And so doubling down on that in the early days is a must.
Yes. Marty, I know, we talk introverted. I openly admit to being one. I know, Marty, you as well. And to me, that's that idea of being alone and the benefits of alone time. Marty, let's lean into the idea of deeper reflection, right? When you're alone, or personal growth, having your own solitude, or strengthening your independence. What's your POV on going at it alone and then learning when to lean on somebody else? Self-reliance versus relying on others. Marty.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, it's up to us. You know, you got to be responsible for your own actions. You got to hold yourself accountable. So number one, I'm always reflecting and being honest with myself. But when I come to a conflict, or sometimes I just need some words of positivity, then I'll probably lean on someone else. But me and you kind of talked about this yesterday. You got to have that time to reflect, to be creative. Yes. When you get caught up in the madness, when you're in Darth Vader mode, you're not being creative. You're not thinking of new ideas. You're not thinking of ways to elevate the business. You're not trying to help the employees or the people that you work with. So I'm big on doing things, a lot of things alone, most things alone, I should say. Mm-hmm,
mm-hmm. Marianna, where does an entrepreneur, solopreneur find the balance with, we talk about often on the show, being your own human, don't conforming to others, chase your own vision, right? While support networks are important, over-reliance on that, John always talks about that, if I'm listening to those voices over there too much, I'm going to become like those voices. I got to go my own path. And if those voices understand my path, then my voice isn't strong enough, or my vision is not high enough. Marianna, talk about over-reliance on others and how it can hinder personal growth. For example, Ivan, again, you were watching him go down the path. You knew he was growing. Is there a balance on help, on over-relying on too much outside help?
Well, yes, there is. As an entrepreneur, you want to protect yourself from the negative comments or naysayers or doubters, so there is a healthy cloak of, loneliness and solitude that you want to have in order to protect yourself from it. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, over-reliance, it's going to make you doubt every single decision and every single strategy because you are looking for multiple opinions. And, if you have 10 friends that you will like and respect and everything, and not most of them are going to tell you a different thing. And then you go home with all this, feedback, and you're like, oh my God, but John said this, and, and Marty said that, but then Keith thinks this, and you just can't make a decision on your own. So I would say the balance is, first of all, know yourself and keep self-developing, because that's what helped us. Keep self-developing and know when is it good to listen to others and when it's actually good to just let it go and think, this is just not it. I don't agree with this, and that's okay. And this is actually very intricate when it comes to family, partners, really good friends, because somebody might have a really good idea that is very close to you that you might be disappointing if you don't, take their opinion to heart. So that is the very delicate situation when you kind of have to address it and say, hey, I love you and respect you and appreciate you. At this point, I think I'm going to go this direction.
Interesting. It's interesting to hear you say it, because I know Johnny and myself like to play we're the elder statesman on the show, and we look to our brother Marty, who's going to be us one day, right? And it's like you're trying to coach, teach, help our friends, our brothers, that this path you're going to go on, a lot of people are going to doubt you, right? So lean into the ones you can build trust on, but also try to stay true to your vision. And it reminds me in some ways of what just happened in the Olympics last week with our Australian breakdancer, Ray Gunn, right? People like, didn't somebody tell her she couldn't dance? Right. And it's like, when do we not lean on to people on the outside? When do we listen to those voices on the outside, and when do we stop listening to those voices on the outside?
Keith,
right.
If I can chime in here.
Yeah.
There is a time to diverge and there is a time to converge. Oh. There is a book called The Age of Thrivability, and Michelle Holliday did a very deep study on what makes living systems do what they do, and how do living systems thrive. And then she took those principles and she applied them to organizations and business. And how can we have businesses that thrive by following the principles of the living systems? And so she talks about there are 4 things to focus on this thing, but 2 of them are diverging and converging. Okay, so first you got to diverge to get something of your own, something unique that you're going to add to the mix. What are you bringing to the party that's unique? That's diverging from the norm, diverging from the system, diverging from what already exists. You're creating something new. But then you have to converge to the marketplace, because you have to then include others in your creation. And that's how, between the divergence and convergence together, 2 sides of the same coin, you can actually create something that thrives and lasts in the world for real.
Oh, I like that. Divergence and convergence. That's some great learnings here being offered up by Ivan Pollack. Producer Christina, going to bring you in a couple moments to help close the show with us, get some closing comments from you. But before we do that, Marty, I think we got to have Adam on the show here, man, because Adam's dropping nuggets in the feeds there. Adam talks about Ivan's story, and sorry, Marty's covering you up there, but Adam's story talks about Ivan's story really resonated with me. I had certain standards and I had wanted to affect my team to utilize my knowledge. Adam goes on to say, at some point, frustration entered the situation and the battle became curbing expectations. Adam, great comment, man. Ivan, what do you say to that when Adam comments on Adam? And I see Marty, you yourself said same with you, Marty. You were so, Ivan, before I go to you, Marty, when Adam made that comment, you said, I relate to that. Comment on that, Marty.
Oh, definitely. And this isn't, I don't have any employees. Mine is more the clients in the fitness world.
Yes.
But we all have the same goal, And, some people just have different ways of getting to the goal. And
Yes.
I got to meet the client where they are. And my expectations kind of were maybe too high or maybe a little unrealistic. And that might be, that's kind of how I can relate to it somewhat.
Yeah. And Ivan, before I come to you, John, I see you leaning in as well. Talk about that, where even with your clients, right, maybe they have an expectation, you have an expectation. Maybe sometimes you get frustrated with that client. How do you manage that with your customers, John, or in your world?
Well, what I really try to do is when I understand where they are and where they want to go, I put together a series of different methodologies, physical and mental, to get them out of the gate, to show them that they're capable of doing more, which then brings them to a different mental state, which allows me to I basically get them further down the path faster than they thought was possible. But it's all about that initial, how do I get them into a place where I've opened their minds, where they realize that they can do more than they thought. I'm really just trying to bypass their limiting beliefs.
Yes, yes. Ivan, closing this comment with you. At some point, Adam says frustration entered the situation and the battle became curbing expectations. Ivan, what do you say to Adam's comments?
Well, I agree with them completely. I was frustrated to the nth degree. I was frustrated and burnt out hugely. I was pushing. I was trying to force people to get their jobs done. I was trying to make them do it. And, it was a battle of wills. It started to become a battle of wills. And it wasn't a battle that was constructive. It wasn't a battle that was pulling in the same direction. We were wasting a lot of energy. And I was never going to win because we had 100 employees and they were always going to do less than I expected. So there was no way to win that battle. So we really need to meet each other in a clear space based on reality, so that we're not putting in too much of our agenda in the mix and too many expectations. The expectations aren't really life-giving. They are kind of a mental construct a lot of times, expectations. And so they're not really grounded in reality. There isn't a lot of energy in expectation. There's a lot more energy in the current moment right here that we can harness. Well, we can't get to the moment if we have expectations. Expectations precede the moment. So we're not really in contact with the power that we have right now when we're having too many expectations. We got to meet the moment where it is. We got to meet the people where they are. And that's where we can make the impact.
It's powerful stuff, Ivan Pollack. Christina, joining us here. I pulled you up here to wrap up the show here. You've been sitting back in the green room politely and patiently listening in, tuning in, getting some stuff done for us. What are you taking from the conversation today about the loneliness of entrepreneurship, Christina? What are some nuggets? Have you grabbed some nuggets from our conversation here as we work towards wrapping this up today? Oh, you're muted.
Are we good here?
Yeah, there you go. Keep going. Yeah.
There's a lot to consider. I think Ivan and Marianna present such a great perspective of being able to look at things. They're both going through it. They're both struggling. And it's not as easy as just looking to your partner and saying, I need you. It's being able to work through that together and over time developing a vulnerability and an openness in yourself to be able to ask for help. And I think that's one of the things that we as entrepreneurs and solopreneurs really struggle with. We think we need to have it all figured out. We think that we can't be asking for help because if we are asking for help, we don't know. And once you get to that point in time where you're comfortable saying, like Ivan did, I don't have all the answers. I had a bunch of really smart people to support me. And so we're going to work through this together. You're going to be much better off. And that can be your team. That can be your wife in this case. That can be your partner. That can be your friend, your network online, as Steve Marty said. Wherever it is, get the support and have people where you can confide in and say, I don't have it figured out. And I don't know what I'm doing.
And if there's one thing I've learned from this conversation too, Christina, and listening to Ivan speak, and you said something a couple moments ago, Ivan, that really resonated with me. If you're an entrepreneur listening to the show right now and you're a solopreneur right now, there is nobody around you that will work or put as much time in as you are. And you can't will them to, you can't pay them to, because Ivan, I'm looking at you, brother. It's your baby. It's your vision. right? And you're like, nobody knows what's up here. So you can't expect Marianna to work as hard as you. You can't expect Keith to. You can't expect Marty to, because they're not in here. And I think that sometimes, I know I have made that mistake in the past. Well, why the hell aren't they putting 24 hours a day into the business? It's not your business. As much as we want to think sometimes it is, it's not their business. And there's human truth to that, isn't there, Ivan Pollack? Can you lean into that comment, Ivan?
Yeah, there is definitely truth to that. And there are ways to enroll people and raise their level of engagement for their own reasons. We figured this out. Frame every conversation, every initiative in a sense of what's in it for them.
Yes.
What are they going to get if this project is successful? What kind of feeling they're going to take home? What kind of father, mother they're going to be? How's their career going to be better in the future if they conquer this challenge, whatever we have going on? This is how we engage the people on our team in a way that it was incredible what we saw, the amount of growth that people took and stepped up and made happen. And that was the most fulfilling part of us selling our business, because when we look back and we looked at the team that sprouted up from the opportunity that we created, that was the most fulfilling part, because those people would have never grown as much if we didn't create the space for them. And that was the crowning moment, crowning achievement. You know, the private equity seasoned buyer said, this is the best culture and team that we've ever acquired. And that's the lasting impression that we carry forward with us when we work with other organizations now, because that's the most fulfilling part. And we created something lasting. You know, those lives are forever changed. Those kids and those families are forever going to be different now, because Darth Vader took a nap.
Ivan, I appreciate that, man. I got to lean into this because Johnny and Marty know my story here, and so does Christina. But when I sold my company, we took our core team and said, okay, we have some goals here. My goal is to continue helping change your life. And we took 8 day wonders of our business and we changed their life, Ivan. We made them all millionaires. They weren't equity owners, but we tied our goals to their goals. And listen, entrepreneurs out there saying we're out there to have the change the world and make the world a safer place. No, go make a lot of fucking money. Go make a lot of fucking money, and then you'll change the world. Go make a lot of fucking money, and then share that money with everybody else on your team. I get up every single day, nation, working on changing Marty's life, Johnny's life, Christina's life, Jimmy's life, Melissa's life, Celine's life. That's why I get up, because that's what excites me. Marianna, Ivan, final words to you guys.
Love what you guys are doing here. It was a lot of fun. Thank you for having us. Really appreciate it. And we can all do better out there. Let's support each other, lift each other up, and let's make things happen.
Let's make things happen. Nation, I appreciate you guys tuning in. We're working up for our last couple moments here on the show here. Mornings in the Lab, Keith C. Marty Fitt, the incomparable John Anderson. I'm just going to keep passing that around the table. We got Christina Flynn, producer Christina Flynn, C. Marty Fitt, Ivan Pollack, Marianna Pollack joining us from Europe. Marty, let's go on the table and close it up here. Marty, thoughts on today's show, buddy?
Amazing show. Love the story, Ivan and Marianna. I hope y'all can come back so we can get into more couple stuff. I had some couple questions I didn't get to ask. So
yes,
but great stuff. Thank you for sharing everything.
Yes. Marty, yes. We got to have them back for that alone, right? What's it like building a business as a couple, having couple managers? I agree with Marty there, Ivan, Marianna. Let's have you back for round 2. Johnny, comments from you, pal, before we say goodbye, because I know you got to rock and roll too, bud.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys. You guys brought so much perspective, and you guys coming and telling your story and having our listeners hear it from yet another perspective is just going to be so helpful in helping program their minds and what it takes to step outside their comfort zone and get into the entrepreneurial space if that's what they choose. So thank you.
Love that. Thanks, Johnny. Producer Christina, thoughts on today's show? Third time's a charm for you, Tina. What do you think of today's show?
Great show. Loved it. Loved the perspective. I think if we can say one thing to the audience, if this spoke to you, it may be a warning signal, and don't make light of it. take it as a warning signal, do some reflection, spend some time, and see why it's sparking something in you, because it might just bring you down that path of a nap instead of Darth Vader.
Well said, Christina. That's really well said. So if you're listening to this and the alarms are going off, yeah, it might be a warning signal. And Lotus Flower, I appreciate you. Thanks for joining in. The Real Deal Prime, I appreciate you joining in. Sarvina, good time. Everybody who's the regulars. Enzo, love all you guys. We can't do this if you don't tune in. And you know what? I'm going to say to all you haters out there, we started one day and nobody showed up. And every single day we show up, more of you show up, and I'm really eternally grateful for that. So everybody, have an awesome day. We'll back here tomorrow morning. Mornings in the lab. Myself, John, Marty, producer Christina, producer Jimmy, everybody out there. Marianna, Ivan, have an awesome day. We'll see you guys in the feeds. We're going to get out of here and have some fun. Ciao. Oh, I lost them. There we go. There. Marianna?